The massive alien warship appeared without warning, its dark hull blocking out the stars above New York City. The ship's design defied human engineering, all smooth curves and strange angles that seemed to bend light itself. Military bases worldwide went into high alert as radar stations tracked dozens more vessels entering the atmosphere. Captain Tom Miller stood at attention in the United Nations emergency chamber, his dress uniform feeling too tight around his neck. As Earth's leading expert on theoretical alien contact protocols, he had run countless simulations for this moment. None of them had prepared him for the reality. The giant screen at the front of the chamber flickered to life. The alien that appeared made several diplomats gasp. It had a segmented exoskeleton that gleamed like polished copper, with multiple compound eyes that shifted colors as it moved. When it spoke, its mandibles clicked and chittered, but the words came through clearly in English thanks to their translation technology. People of Earth, the alien commander's voice filled the chamber. I am Fleet Commander Rax of the Galactic Concordat. Your planet has been selected for immediate occupation and integration into our empire. Resistance would be. It paused, mandibles twitching. Unfortunate. Tom watched as the UN Secretary General stepped forward, her voice steady despite the situation. Commander, surely we can discuss this. Earth wishes to join the galactic community peacefully. The alien's laughter sounded like grinding metal. You mistake this for a negotiation. We have studied your world for centuries. We know of your violent nature, your endless wars, your primitive weapons. Submit, or we will be forced to unleash the beast. Murmurs filled the chamber. The beast. Tom's mind raced through possibilities. Some kind of biological weapon. A planet-killer device. You have 6 Earth hours to surrender unconditionally. Commander Rax continued. If you refuse, we will demonstrate the power of our ultimate weapon. The beast has never failed to subjugate a civilization. The transmission cut off, leaving the chamber in chaos. Representatives argued in dozens of languages, military advisors huddled around tablets displaying weapon systems, and scientists frantically analyzed the alien ship's readings. Tom found himself called into an emergency meeting with the Security Council. The room was tense as military leaders from different nations debated their options. Our nuclear weapons might not even scratch their ships, General Adams said, pointing at the sensor readings. Their technology is centuries ahead of ours. But we can't just surrender, the Russian representative argued. We must show strength. Tom studied the images of the alien ship, noting something odd about their behavior. They're keeping their distance, he said. Despite their technological advantage, they're staying well above our atmosphere, almost like they're afraid. Afraid? Of what? Someone asked. I don't know, Tom admitted. But this beast they're threatening us with, why not just attack directly? Why give us time to prepare? The next few hours passed in a blur of meetings and analyses. Satellite images showed the alien ships maintaining their high orbit, making no aggressive moves despite their threats. Something about their behavior didn't match their intimidating words. With 1 hour remaining before the deadline, Tom was back in the UN chamber when all the screens suddenly activated again. Commander Rax appeared, but this time the camera view was wider, showing more of the alien bridge. Tom noticed how the alien crew stayed in sealed environmental suits, even on their own ship. Your time grows short, Rax announced. We have prepared the beast for deployment. This is your final chance to surrender. The Secretary General stood firm. We cannot surrender our world without even knowing what we face. Show us this weapon, this beast you threaten us with. The alien commander's eyes flickered with what might have been anticipation. Very well. Behold the instrument of your doom, the most terrifying creature in the galaxy. The camera panned to reveal a containment chamber. Inside, behind thick barriers, stood. Tom blinked, sure he was seeing things wrong. Several people in the chamber leaned forward. The Secretary General adjusted her glasses. Inside the containment chamber was what appeared to be a dog. A large one, certainly, with some unusual features. Its fur had a metallic sheen. Its eyes glowed slightly, and its proportions were a bit different from a normal dog. But it was unmistakably canine in appearance, and it was wagging its tail. The chamber fell silent for a long moment. Then someone in the back of the room failed to suppress a snort of laughter. Commander Rax's mandibles clicked in what might have been confusion. "You do not tremble before the beast." The dog in the chamber let out a friendly woof. Commander Rax's confusion grew as more humans in the UN chamber struggled to contain their amusement. The supposedly terrifying beast sat in its containment chamber, tongue lolling out in a friendly pant, its glowing eyes bright with what could only be described as eagerness to make friends. "This is your ultimate weapon?" the Secretary General asked, trying to maintain her diplomatic composure despite the situation's absurdity. "A modified dog." "Dog?" Rax clicked his mandibles rapidly. "This is no simple animal. We spent centuries perfecting its genetic code. Its strength is 10 times that of your strongest creatures. Its intelligence rivals our best computers. Its loyalty, once earned, is unbreakable." Tom stepped forward, unable to contain himself. "Commander, those sound exactly like the traits we've bred dogs for over thousands of years, except maybe the computer-level intelligence part." The beast's containment chamber was clearly designed to hold something far more dangerous. Thick energy barriers hummed, and multiple weapon turrets were trained on the creature. Yet the dog simply sat there, head tilted curiously at the aliens who scurried around it in their environmental suits. "Observe its fearsome nature," Rax commanded. He pressed a button, and a robotic arm extended into the chamber holding what appeared to be some kind of alien meat. The dog's ears perked up immediately. The assembled humans watched as the ultimate weapon politely took the food, wagged its tail in thanks, and proceeded to do what dogs do best: flop over and enjoy its meal while making slightly messy eating noises. "It shows no aggression," Rax said, sounding perplexed. "This is most unusual. Perhaps its conditioning requires the presence of enemies." He turned to his crew. "Release the combat drones." Several small floating robots entered the chamber. The dog immediately jumped up, its tail wagging even faster. Before anyone could react, it had bounded over to the nearest drone and dropped into a play bow, rear end in the air, tail waving like a flag. "Commander," Tom said, fighting to keep a straight face, "I believe your ultimate weapon wants to play fetch." "Impossible." Rax's exoskeleton rattled in agitation. "We engineered it for maximum aggression. Its bite force can crush titanium. Its enhanced muscles can." He was interrupted by the sound of the dog giving an excited bark as it chased one of the combat drones around the chamber, clearly having the time of its life. An alien scientist rushed onto the bridge, its movements showing clear distress. "Commander, our latest analysis shows an anomaly. The baseline genetic template we used. It wasn't from a wild predator as we thought. The Earth specimens we collected centuries ago came from creatures they had already domesticated." The UN chamber erupted in laughter. Even the Secretary General couldn't maintain her composure any longer. The sight of the alien's ultimate weapon rolling over for belly rubs from a confused combat drone was simply too much. "You mean," Tom said, wiping tears of laughter from his eyes, "that you took a regular dog, probably someone's pet, and spent centuries making it even more dog-like. But its enhanced intelligence," Rax protested. "Surely you must fear a creature with such mental capabilities." As if on cue, the dog figured out how to trigger the treat dispenser in its chamber. It looked immensely pleased with itself as it enjoyed its reward, then immediately began trying to share the treats with the combat drones. "Commander," the Secretary General said, finally regaining her composure, "I believe we need to have a serious discussion about cultural differences. But first, would you allow one of our experts to demonstrate something?" "What demonstration?" Rax asked suspiciously. "We have a K9 handler here who can show you what these creatures are actually capable of. And more importantly, why we've called them man's best friend for thousands of years." The dog, having thoroughly charmed the combat drones, looked at the humans through the video feed and gave another happy woof. Commander Rax's multiple eyes blinked in sequence. For the first time in his long military career, he found himself completely at a loss for words. Their ultimate weapon, their unstoppable beast, just wanted belly rubs and treats. The invasion of Earth was not going according to plan. After watching the dog play with combat drones for several more minutes, Commander Rax finally agreed to a face-to-face meeting with Earth's representatives. The location chosen was a secure military base in Nevada, with one unusual addition: a large outdoor training area, typically used for military working dogs. The alien delegation arrived in environment-sealed pods, their movements suggesting extreme nervousness despite their superior technology. Tom noticed how they flinched at every small movement, their compound eyes constantly scanning for threats. "Your atmosphere is acceptable," Rax said through his suit's speakers, though he made no move to remove it. "But these open spaces are deeply unsettling. How do you survive without proper shell protection?" "Shell protection?" Tom asked, noting how the alien commander's segmented exoskeleton gleamed in the sunlight. "Your world is filled with monsters," Rax replied, his mandibles clicking rapidly. "Creatures with internal skeletons, beams of meat and bone that move with unnatural fluidity. We've studied your wildlife records. Horrifying, all of them." The revelation hit Tom like a thunderbolt. "You're afraid of vertebrates," he said. "Your entire species. You've evolved from something like insects or crustaceans, haven't you?" "We are the pinnacle of rational design," Rax declared proudly. "Protected by proper exoskeletons, moving with efficient jointed motions, thinking with distributed neural clusters. Not like," he shuddered visibly, "not like your twisted bone-filled forms." The assembled human officials exchanged glances. Suddenly, the aliens' behavior made more sense. Their high orbit, their sealed suits, their terror of Earth's creatures. It all came from an instinctive revulsion to vertebrate life. "And that's why you thought the dog would terrify us," the Secretary General said. "Because its very existence terrifies you." "Of course." Rax's voice rose with emotion. "Look at it. The way it moves so smoothly, its horrifying flexible spine. The wet eyes, the teeth." He stopped as the dog in question, still in its containment chamber nearby, rolled over and scratched its back on the floor, tongue lolling out happily. "I think," Tom said carefully, "we need to explain something about Earth's evolutionary history. You see, we didn't just domesticate dogs. We co-evolved with them. They helped us hunt, protected our homes, shared our food." Shared. Rax's translator somehow managed to convey his horror. "You let these creatures into your dwellings, near your young." An alien scientist stepped forward, its movements jerky with agitation. "Commander, our latest studies suggest something even more disturbing. These humans, they develop emotional attachments to vertebrate creatures. They keep smaller versions in their homes. They share resources with them. They even engage in physical contact." Physical contact. Rax's voice rose to a near screech. "With vertebrates, willingly." As if to demonstrate this point, the dog chose that moment to press its nose against the containment field, making the small whining sound that every human present recognized. It wanted attention. "Would you like to see something interesting?" Tom asked. "We have a handler here who can demonstrate how we work with dogs. I promise you'll find it educational." Rax's multiple eyes shifted colors rapidly, apparently their version of intense internal debate. Finally, he nodded. "Proceed, but maintain safety protocols." The K-9 handler, Officer Jack, stepped forward with his own service dog, a well-trained German shepherd named Rex. The aliens moved back rapidly, clustering together in what was clearly a defensive formation. "Rex, sit," Jack commanded. The dog immediately complied, looking up attentively at his handler. "Notice how it submits to commands," Rax muttered, clearly a sign of its deadly military conditioning. "Rex, shake." Jack said, holding out his hand. The dog raised its paw politely. The aliens watched in fascinated horror as human and dog interacted, performing various commands and tricks. Their terror seemed to peak when Rex rolled over for belly rubs, exposing his vulnerable underside willingly. "This is how you control such beasts?" Rex asked, his voice a mix of fear and newfound curiosity. "Through gentleness. Not control," Jack corrected, scratching Rex behind the ears. "Partnership. Friendship." The word friendship took several seconds for the aliens' translators to process, coming through as a complex series of clicks and whistles. In its chamber, the enhanced dog watched the proceedings with bright interest, its tail wagging hopefully. Perhaps these strange, chittering creatures would play with it soon. The invasion of Earth had officially become a lesson in interspecies relationships, though not quite in the way anyone had expected. Officer Jack stood in the training field, his hand steady despite the dozen alien weapons trained on him. After much discussion and several security protocols, Commander Rax had agreed to allow a demonstration with their beast, under strict supervision. "You understand the risks." Rax clicked nervously. "This is not one of your ordinary vertebrates. Its capabilities have been enhanced far beyond natural limits." Jack smiled, his years of K9 handling experience evident in his calm demeanor. "Commander, I've worked with military dogs for 15 years. I think I can handle one friendly pup, even if he is a bit special." The containment field lowered with a soft hum. The enhanced dog stepped out cautiously, its metallic-sheened fur catching the sunlight. It was larger than a standard German shepherd, with more pronounced muscles and those striking glowing eyes, but its body language was pure dog, eager, curious, and friendly. "Beast, attack protocol Alpha." Rax commanded sharply. The dog tilted its head, looked at Jack, and trotted over to him with a wagging tail. "Hello there, big fellow," Jack said softly, holding out his hand palm down for the dog to sniff. The aliens watched in horror as their ultimate weapon thoroughly sniffed Jack's hand, then promptly sat down and offered its paw. "Impossible." The alien scientist's appendages waved in agitation. "We programmed it with over 300 combat protocols." "May I?" Jack asked, reaching slowly for his training pouch. After getting a nervous nod from Rax, he pulled out a tennis ball. The effect was immediate. The enhanced dog's ears perked up, its tail wagging harder. Intelligence tests or not, some things were hardwired into canine DNA. Ball equals fun was apparently one of them. "Watch carefully," Jack said to the aliens. He held up the ball. "Sit." The dog sat immediately. "Stay." The dog remained perfectly still, though its eyes tracked the ball's every movement. "Okay, fetch." What happened next made the aliens recoil in terror. The enhanced dog moved with incredible speed, its powerful muscles launching it across the field as it chased the thrown ball. It caught the ball midair with perfect precision, then bounded back to Jack with obvious joy. "Good boy," Jack praised, making the alien observers twitch at his casual interaction with the beast. "Now, would you like to see something really interesting?" He pulled out some training equipment, simple objects like cones and small barriers. Over the next 20 minutes, he put the enhanced dog through a basic training routine. The dog responded perfectly to every command, its enhanced intelligence evident in how quickly it picked up new instructions. "You see," Jack explained as the dog effortlessly completed an agility course, "dogs naturally want to work with us. They're pack animals. They understand hierarchy, cooperation, and teamwork. All your genetic modifications did was make this one better at being what dogs already are, loyal companions." Companions. Rax seemed to struggle with the concept, but its strength, its speed, its intelligence just means he'll be better at helping humans, Jack said. "Watch this." He turned to the dog. "Search and rescue demonstration." The enhanced dog immediately switched modes, using its superior senses to locate a hidden training dummy. It then guided Jack to the location, showing amazing problem-solving skills in navigating obstacles. Your ultimate weapon, Tom said from the sidelines, would make an amazing search and rescue dog. Think about it. Enhanced strength to move to brace, superior intelligence to solve complex problems, improved stamina for long operations. And most importantly, Jack added, rewarding the dog with a treat and pat, the desire to help. That's what makes dogs special, not their capabilities, but their heart. The enhanced dog leaned against Jack's leg, looking up at him with those glowing eyes. Despite its artificial origins and enhanced abilities, in that moment it was just like any other dog, happy to have a job to do and a human to do it with. Commander Rax watched in silence, his compound eyes shifting through various colors. Finally, he spoke. Perhaps we have misunderstood many things about Earth life, and about the nature of strength itself. The dog, apparently tired of all the serious talk, picked up the tennis ball and dropped it at Rax's feet, tail wagging hopefully. The invasion of Earth had officially become something entirely unexpected, a lesson in friendship from humanity's oldest ally. The alien scientist rushed onto the training field, waving data tablets in multiple appendages. After hours of watching Jack work with their beast, the research team had finally completed their full genetic analysis. Commander Rax. The scientist's mandibles clicked rapidly in excitement. We've traced the original genetic sample. You won't believe where it came from. Rax turned away from watching the enhanced dog playing fetch with Jack. Report. The specimen we collected centuries ago. It was from a place called Germany. But, Commander, it wasn't a wild creature. It was already domesticated. The scientist pulled up a holographic display. In fact, based on genetic markers, it was likely a family's companion animal. Tom couldn't help but laugh. You mean you took someone's pet German shepherd? The collection team reported finding it in a secured human dwelling, the scientist confirmed. They assumed anything kept under guard must be a weapon. It was probably just someone's backyard, Jack said, scratching behind the enhanced dog's ears. The fence wasn't for keeping the dog in. It was to mark territory and keep other animals out. The holographic display showed a timeline of genetic modifications. The aliens had spent centuries trying to enhance what they thought were aggressive traits. They'd improved strength, speed, and intelligence. But they'd also accidentally enhanced many of the traits that made dogs such perfect companions: loyalty, empathy, and the desire to work with others. So all this time, the Secretary General said, you were trying to turn man's best friend into a weapon, but instead made it an even better friend. The enhanced dog, seemingly aware it was the topic of discussion, rolled over for belly rubs. Its glowing eyes closed in contentment as Jack obliged. We did not understand, Rax admitted. On our world, all creatures compete. The concept of symbiosis between different species. It is alien to us. His compound eyes shifted to a deep blue. What the humans had learned was a sign of deep thought. The alien scientist pulled up more data. The modifications we made. The enhanced intelligence wasn't meant for cooperation. It was supposed to make it a better killer. But somehow, dogs are already smart in ways that matter, Jack explained. They can read human emotions, understand complex commands, solve problems. You just made those natural abilities stronger. To demonstrate, he led the enhanced dog through several complex training exercises. The dog showed incredible problem-solving abilities, but always looked to Jack for approval and guidance. Remember, Tom added, dogs and humans co-evolved. They're not just pets. They're partners. We shaped each other over thousands of years. Rax watched as the enhanced dog gently took a treat from Jack's hand, its powerful jaws capable of crushing metal yet perfectly controlled. We thought we were creating the ultimate predator, he said quietly. Instead, we created the ultimate helper. The alien scientist was still reviewing data. Commander, look at these brain scans. The empathy centers. They're highly developed. More than we intended. The genetic modifications meant to increase aggression instead enhanced its ability to understand and care about others, including non-humans, apparently, Tom noted as the dog approached Rax's environmental suit curiously, tail wagging. Rax stood very still as the enhanced dog sniffed at him. Despite his species' instinctive fear of vertebrates, he found himself fascinated by the creature's gentle inspection. "Your people did not conquer dogs," Rax said slowly, watching the dog sit politely in front of him. "You became partners, allies." He paused. Perhaps we have much to learn from Earth." The dog, having decided Rax was a potential friend despite his strange appearance, picked up its tennis ball and placed it carefully at the alien commander's feet. "I believe," the Secretary General said with a smile, "your ultimate weapon is asking you to play." For the first time since arriving on Earth, Commander Rax reached down with one armored appendage and very carefully picked up the tennis ball. The enhanced dog's tail wagged harder, its glowing eyes bright with anticipation. In that moment, it didn't matter that it was a genetically modified creature or that Rax was an alien commander. It was simply a dog, doing what dogs do best, bringing people and aliens together. The invasion had become something else entirely, a bridge between worlds, built by an accidentally enhanced German shepherd with a tennis ball and a lot of love to give. Commander Rax stood before the assembled UN Security Council, his environmental suit gleaming under the chamber lights. At his feet, the enhanced dog sat calmly, its metallic sheened fur and glowing eyes drawing curious looks from the delegates. After careful consideration, Rax announced, his mandibles clicking thoughtfully, the Galactic Concordat would like to propose a different kind of alliance with Earth. The room buzzed with interest. Just days ago, these same aliens had threatened to conquer Earth. Now their commander stood before them with their ultimate weapon, acting as what could only be described as a therapy dog. "Our initial assessment of Earth was flawed," Rax continued. "We saw your relationship with other species as a sign of weakness. We were wrong. The bond between humans and dogs demonstrates something our civilization has never achieved. True cooperation between different forms of life." The enhanced dog looked up at Rax, tail wagging gently. Over the past few days, the alien commander had slowly overcome his species' instinctive fear of vertebrates, at least where this particular dog was concerned. "We propose a cultural exchange program," Rax said. "Your K9 training methods could revolutionize how we approach interspecies relationships. In return, we offer our genetic enhancement technology, used properly this time, with understanding rather than fear." Jack, who had been invited to the session as Earth's K9 expert, raised his hand. "Commander, are you suggesting we work together to create more enhanced dogs like this one?" "Not weapons," Rax clarified quickly. "But imagine. Search and rescue dogs with enhanced strength and stamina. Guide dogs with increased intelligence and problem-solving abilities. Therapy dogs with heightened empathy, all while maintaining the essential qualities that make dogs such perfect companions." The Secretary General leaned forward. "And what does the Concordat gain from this arrangement?" Rax's compound eyes shifted to a color the humans had learned meant embarrassment. "To be honest, my young offspring has become quite attached to your enhanced dog, as have many of our crew, despite our natural instincts. We believe exposure to Earth's companions could help our species overcome our limitations." As if to demonstrate, the enhanced dog noticed Rax's distress and pressed gently against his environmental suit in a gesture of comfort. The alien commander, who just days ago would have recoiled in terror, actually reached down to pat the dog's head. "There's something else," the alien scientist added, stepping forward. "Our preliminary studies suggest that human-dog partnerships have unique psychological benefits. The ability to form emotional bonds with other species. It could be revolutionary for space exploration. Imagine crews with enhanced companion animals, helping maintain mental health during long voyages." The Security Council members exchanged looks. It was perhaps the strangest diplomatic proposal in Earth's history, an interstellar alliance built on dog training. We would need safeguards, Tom pointed out, agreements about how the genetic technology would be used. Of course, Rax agreed. We've learned our lesson about making assumptions. All modifications would be done with full understanding of canine psychology and human-dog relationships. The enhanced dog, seemingly bored with all the diplomatic talk, had wandered over to a nervous-looking alien junior officer. Within minutes, it had the officer throwing a small ball down the chamber's aisle. "Look at that," Jack said softly. Not even an hour ago, that officer couldn't be in the same room as a dog without shaking. Now they're playing fetch. The Secretary General smiled. Perhaps this is exactly what both our species need. Humans have always known the power of dogs to bring people together. Why not extend that to bringing planets together? Rax watched his junior officer gradually relaxing around the dog, their natural fear being replaced by curiosity and even joy. On my world, we believe strength comes from independence, but perhaps true strength lies in the ability to form bonds, even with those very different from ourselves. The enhanced dog, having successfully made a new friend, returned to sit between Rax and Jack, a living bridge between two worlds that had nearly gone to war. The Secretary General stood. "Commander Rax, I believe Earth would be very interested in discussing this alliance further. Though I must say, this is probably the first time in history that a potential war was prevented by a game of fetch. The invasion that never was had transformed into something far more valuable, a chance for two very different species to learn from each other, guided by humanity's oldest and most faithful friends." 6 months after the failed invasion, the Nevada training facility had transformed into the Interstellar Canine Training Academy. The once military base now hosted an unusual mix of humans, aliens, and dogs of various levels of enhancement. Commander Rax stood at the observation window, watching a training session below. He had finally worked up the courage to remove his environmental suit within the facility, though his exoskeleton still clicked nervously whenever a dog came too close. "Amazing progress with the new cadets," Jack said, joining him at the window. Below, a group of alien trainees worked with their assigned dogs, their natural fear of vertebrates clearly giving way to genuine bonds. "Indeed," Rax agreed, "though I must admit, I never imagined my military career would lead to becoming an expert in what you call puppy socialization." The enhanced dog that had started it all, now named Bridge by mutual agreement, lay at Rax's feet. Its genetic enhancements had proven invaluable in helping other aliens overcome their instinctive fears. Something about its slightly alien appearance made it easier for them to approach. "The latest medical reports are promising," Tom said, entering with a stack of data tablets. "The presence of dogs is actually helping your species produce new neural pathways. You're literally rewiring your brains to be less afraid of vertebrates." A young alien cadet rushed into the room, practically vibrating with excitement. "Commander, my dog performed a successful search and rescue simulation, without any fear response from me." Rax's compound eyes shifted to proud gold. 6 months ago, the idea of any of his species willingly working with a vertebrate monster would have been unthinkable. Now they had waiting lists for the training program. "The genetic enhancement program is showing good results too," Tom continued. "The modifications are much more refined now that we understand what we're actually trying to achieve. The new generation of enhanced dogs has all the benefits without any unintended side effects." Through the window, they watched as the training session continued. Enhanced dogs worked alongside regular ones, their superior abilities balanced by the same loyal, friendly nature that had made dogs humanity's partners for thousands of years. The Concordat High Command sent their latest report. Rax said, "The integration of enhanced dogs into space exploration teams has reduced crew stress by 60%. And the search and rescue units." He paused, mandibles clicking in amazement. "They've saved over 1,000 lives already." Bridge perked up as a small hover transport arrived outside. The door opened to reveal Rax's offspring, click click, as the humans had taken to calling them, who had become the Academy's youngest trainee. Parent Commander. Click Click chittered excitedly. Watch what me and Scout can do. Everyone watched as the young alien led their assigned dog, a slightly enhanced golden retriever, through a complex obstacle course. Click Click moved with none of their species' usual fear, completely trusting their canine partner. You know, Jack said quietly, when you first arrived, you thought you were bringing us your ultimate weapon. Instead, you helped us make our best friends even better. Rax nodded. We thought we were superior because we feared nothing like ourselves. But your dogs taught us that true strength lies in overcoming fear to form bonds with those different from us. The Secretary General arrived for her weekly inspection, smiling at the scene below. The latest diplomatic reports are excellent. 3 more alien species have requested to join the program. It seems dogs are becoming Earth's most effective ambassadors. Bridge, sensing the mood becoming too serious, picked up its favorite tennis ball and dropped it at Rax's feet. The alien commander, who once would have fled in terror, now bent down to pick it up with practiced ease. You know, Tom said, watching Rax play fetch with the dog that had nearly started a war, I don't think this is quite what anyone meant by unleash the beast. The Secretary General laughed. No, but I'd say it worked out better than anyone could have imagined. Who would have thought that humanity's first major interstellar alliance would be built on puppy love? Outside, under Earth's sun, aliens and humans worked together, their ancient fears and differences bridged by creatures who had been bringing people together for thousands of years. The beast had been unleashed, not to conquer, but to connect. And Bridge, the enhanced dog who had started it all, continued doing what dogs do best, making the universe a little bit friendlier, one game of fetch at a time.